Lauren. I am the Stitchy Techie and welcome to my very first ever FlossTube. So, I guess I'll just start with a little bit about me. I am 25. I've been stitching since probably October, November of 2006, 2007. So it's been about 13 years. And I do all kinds of crafting. I love to cross stitch, obviously, since I'm here. But I also quilt and I sew other things like clothes. I've recently gotten back into knitting and crocheting, so I just kind of do it all. But this is gonna be pretty much all about my cross stitching, which is amazing. So sorry if I look down, I've got notes on my phone because this is my first ever and I'm obviously gonna be a little bit nervous, maybe. Um, so it's been a while since I've been able to stitch on a regular basis. After I finished college, I went to grad school in the evening and I had a job during the day, and so my schedule was never really conducive to being able to stitch very much. So it had been a while since I had started a big project, and a few months ago I wanted to jump in with both feet, or maybe head first, depending on how you look at my level of craziness. But I decided I wanted to start a new piece and it was pretty big, and so I decided to look into parking, which I had heard of before but had never really tried. So I tried Googling, YouTubing parking methods, and I came across several amazing tutorials, and that is when I discovered FlossTube, where people just sit and chat about cross stitch, and I was like, these are my people. So I think the first person I watched every single video of was Mika, Darling Bluebell. She's based out of the Netherlands. She's absolutely amazing. I love her. And then I ran out of her videos. And I think the next person I looked at was Emily C, Eclectic Possessions. She's actually based right here in Georgia, which is where I live. And then I watched all of her videos, and then I ran out of those. So then I was looking around for other videos, and the next person I came along was the Stitchin' Mommy, and so I am watching all of her videos. I'm maybe a third of the way through right now. I don't know if I'm gonna go back and watch everyone's videos from the beginning. Probably not, because there are a lot of you, and I love that, but I don't think I have the time. But yeah, and it's also a dangerous proposition because you watch someone's videos and you see the amazing pieces that they're working on and the amazing threads they just found, and you're like, I have to have them, and eventually your wallet just goes, do you really? That happened, as you will find out from my haul later on. But we're not quite there yet. First, I wanted to show you my most recent finish. I've finished several pieces, but honestly, most of them get given away to family members and friends, so I don't have access to any of them currently. The only finish that I have access to right now are two little Heaven and Earth design minis, which I can't actually find. I just moved into a new apartment, and so they're in a box or a bin or a bag somewhere within the surrounding 950 square feet, but I'm not sure exactly where. So we'll find them and you'll get to see them eventually. But the other finish that I've had recently is a little sampler piece for stitching all the things, which is my motto in life. But this is just a little leaflet, pamphlet, booklet type of pattern. It's very, very small compared to what I normally work on. And it was actually a sampler piece for a quilt shop that recently opened up in my area. And they asked me to teach a class about cross stitch. And I was like, yes. And then now I'm in quarantine or self-isolation, whatever you want to call it. I'm not leaving the house. So that's gonna have to wait. But I absolutely loved this piece. It was a lot of fun to stitch. It was kind of difficult to get my head into sometimes because I'm used to large pieces with lots of confetti, not small pieces with solid bits. And so it was a little bit on the difficult side for me to kind of wrap my head around. But I did get it done eventually, and now I just have to wash it and frame it, and then it'll be an FFO. But again, I just moved, so I did not have access to any of my fabric or anything like that, and I think that's what I want to do with this rather than put it in a frame, because I don't know how well you can see, but there are some cute little French knots up here and down here, and I don't want to squish those in a frame behind glass. So I think what I'm gonna do is take some batting and some like stiff card paper, and kind of just wrap it around that, and then use some of my quilting cotton, like a dark gray I think would be really pretty on the back, so that it's fully finished and you can't see the serged edges or anything. But yeah, I think that's gonna be my plan. But now I just have to unpack enough to get to my fabric. It's a work in progress. We're gonna get there eventually. All right. As for my current works in progress, I don't have a ton. Like I said, I haven't had a ton of time to stitch in the last few years. And I was also living at my parents' house while I was in grad school, so you know, there wasn't really a ton of space for multiple projects, and so I would just kind of buy patterns and then have one big project going on, and you know, then maybe a little project for someone's birthday or for Christmas. And so I don't really have a ton of whips right now, but come May, I'm hoping to change that. So I have started 2 new pieces in the last couple weeks. I've been in this apartment for 2 weeks now. Not fully, like I've been living here, but my parents' house is just a few miles up the road. So some of my stuff has still been there. So that's why I'm still unpacking. But I think we're getting close, hopefully. But anyway, my first night here alone, I decided I needed a little bit of comfort, and so I had made sure that I would have something to work on. So I brought actually quite a few hand quilting, piecing, and cross-stitch patterns that were kitted up and ready to go so that I could work on something, whatever struck my fancy. And I decided to start on my first ever Mirabilia pattern. So that is Athena, the Goddess of Wisdom by Mirabilia. And thank you, darling Bluebell, for introducing me to the world of Mirabilia. My wallet thanks you too. So I started on her, and Right now I lost my needle minder, which means my needle is lost around here somewhere. It might be in the bag, but anyway, I've only gotten a few squares done on her. That is mostly just the archway and some of those grapevines. And because I'm working this in a Q-snap, I'm not going to put any of the beads in until the end. So right now this is just DMC and Karen Water Lily silk. So that is the start that I've got on Athena. I'm so excited because I actually got to put my first stitch of blue in on this last little square slash rectangle that I did. So we're getting to the colorful bits. I'm so excited. So that is that. Yes, I am throwing my cross stitch on the floor. And then the next piece I started, Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs, she's the owner, she started a challenge on her Facebook group to do 10,000 stitches by May 15th, and that was about a week ago. Now, my goal is to be done by May 1st because I want all of May to be devoted to new starts. So I'm hoping to get 10,000 stitches in. If I don't, it's not the end of the world, but I'm hoping to get there. But this is the other new start that I had. It's in black and white, so you can't really tell, but it is The Ceiling of the Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo, which is an absolutely amazing piece of artwork. If you've ever been to Rome, definitely an entire day to go to the Vatican, because the Sistine Chapel is at the very end of your walkthrough, and there's so much beautiful artwork. And you can't really see it, which is kind of disappointing, but they've got to protect the paint, so it's very low lit, and you can't take any photos, but it's kind of awe-inspiring, I think is the word when you're there. So I went when I was 18. I studied abroad for a summer. I lived in France for a summer, but we went to Italy for our midterm break. So this is one piece that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I could just never really justify starting it because it's like you don't have the space, you don't have the time to work on it. So it's sad. It was bought, it was printed out, but it was never started. So I decided to go ahead and start that one. And as you can see, I am doing amazingly on this challenge. That right there is a 20 by 20 square. So I have about 350 stitches in it right now. The ironic thing about getting the pattern and printing it out is that I recently discovered through FlossTube the app Pattern Keeper, and so I decided to try that. So don't need all those pages I printed out, but I'm gonna use Pattern Keeper for this to help me keep track. It shouldn't be too difficult. I'm not planning on going down. I'm planning on going the entire way across, like not doing just the page. I'm planning to do the entire 350 stitch wide, and if I do 350 stitches by 20 stitches and go all the way across, that's going to be about 7,000 stitches, and then so then I'll have another like half of a row of 20 stitches to do. This is Lugana of some kind. It's white. I got it from Heaven and Earth Design. I ordered a large piece from them, and then I cut it down to the size I needed for this one, and for the size I wanted for a couple other pieces. So it is 36 count, I believe. It might be 32 count. Whatever it is, it's wide enough to fit on the piece I'm stitching on it. So that's that. And like I said, I haven't had access to my machine, so I haven't been able to make a grime guard. I have the materials, but I haven't had access to any kind of machine that would allow me to turn said materials into a grime guard, and so it's gonna be a big piece, and you can see how much fabric there is. It's kind of wrinkled because, you know, that's how it gets. But I got to try parking. I'm thinking I'm liking it, and we'll continue to see how this one goes. Now, this next piece is a piece. It was my very first Heaven and Earth Design purchase. Not my first finish, not my first pattern. I tried a couple of freebies before I got this piece. But this was my very first Heaven and Earth Design purchase. And it is lotus flowers. So it's by Lynn Fogel. It's a Heaven and Earth Design pattern, obviously. But they're absolutely gorgeous. And I have had the word lotus pop up a lot in my life. And I'm not superstitious or anything like that, but this was beautiful. And they're really beautiful flowers, and they're very resilient flowers. They grow in mud, not very nice, pretty conditions, but they're these gorgeous, gorgeous blooms. And so I've just kind of taken them on as mine. So this piece is cross-country stitching, and it's in a scroll frame because I had not heard of Q-snaps when I started it. But this is what I have so far. So up to about here-ish, I want to say, about where this paler color starts. That is completely finished, but then you can see in the pale section that's still confettied, and still have some work to do up here and obviously down here. So it's about halfway done, I think, right now. And that is a paper copy pattern. Sorry, my dad and my sister brought some stuff over, and I was like, did they remember to bring my pattern over? They did. I don't think I'm going to transfer it to Pattern Keeper because that amount of confetti, this is where I currently have it set. That amount of confetti, trying to transfer that over is just going to be, no, not happening. So, I'm going to continue working this from a paper pattern. And I'm really excited to get back to it. This is 22 count Aida. And it's worked with, obviously, all the regular DMCs. But I started this my sophomore year of college. I was 19, I'm now 25, so it's 6 years old. And I have put maybe 100 stitches in it in the last 2.5, 3 years. Because I just didn't have the time or the energy. Going to school at night in the evenings, it messes with your schedule and doesn't leave you a whole lot of energy. And additionally, I was focusing on some of my other crafting at the time, making quilts, that kind of thing. But I'm super excited to start this one up again. And yeah. All right. So next we're gonna do haul. So I've been ordering quite a lot recently. It's been hard being stuck alone. I'm very, very, very lucky. I work in software implementation, so I can work from home, which is very nice, and my company has been very good about keeping us protected, keeping us safe. So, but it also makes you go a little stir crazy. And so between that and wanting to get stocked up for Mania and being able to actually start my starts, I've been ordering the things a lot. Plus finding FlossTube, finding you guys. It's an amazing sense of community, but I wanted to buy all the pretty things. So, all right, so I was planning to film on Saturday, but Saturday ended up being a lot of unpacking, going to the old house and packing stuff up there, and so I just didn't get around to it. But I didn't open any of my packages from Friday, Saturday, or today yet, because I wanted to open them with you guys. All I've done is slit them open so you don't have to listen to me like wrestling around. But I haven't even looked at the addresses, the return addresses, so I don't know where they're from. I don't know what we're opening, but I'm pretty sure it's like 95% cross-stitch stuff. So first thing that came on Friday was, okay, so this one is a DesignWorks kit that I found on Amazon. It's called the 12 Days of Christmas. And I am loving these colors. The 12 Days of Christmas was always one of my favorite Christmas songs. Ooh, there are even little beads. There's beads and there's sparkly braid along with the regular floss. So that's gonna be exciting and fun. I don't know when I'm gonna start this. Maybe Christmas in July. It's definitely not gonna be before May because I just won't have time for that. And then the next one, there are 2 packages from this place, so I think I know what they are. Yeah. They are Mirabilia, and this one is Lady of the Mist, and it's a little bent, but that's okay. We can deal with that. It's still sealed and everything. She's so pretty. I love these Mirabilia pieces. They're so gorgeous. Yeah. So I'm excited to start that one. Again, that one's gonna have to wait a little bit because it's not currently in my May stitching plans. And I can tell that these came from the same place because they were packaged the same. So this is probably another Mirabilia. Maybe, if I can ever open it. Ooh, yes, all right. So this one is Crystal Symphony. She's another gorgeous, gorgeous lady. I love these pieces. The only thing is there's really no good needlepoint shop close by. And so I have to order all my beads and stuff online. Obviously I'm ordering everything online right now, but I'm trying not to. So she's another one that is going to wait, but I'm definitely hoping to start her this year sometime because she is beautiful. As all Mirabilia ladies are. Alright, now this is the last thing that arrived on Friday, and it is a cookbook. Not cross stitch, but I recently had allergy tests done. Apparently I'm allergic to several things, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this program, which is supposed to help you like remove a lot of things from your diet so that you can then figure out like what actually makes you feel bad. Because even though the blood test showed I was allergic to lots of things like wheat and sesame seeds, I've never really had a reaction. Pretty much all of my allergies are seasonal and animal related. So never had a food allergy before, but I think once everything calms down and I'm able to go shopping on a regular basis, make sure I have fresh produce, fresh ingredients, I'm gonna try the Whole30 program and see if that helps. See if I can detect any difference in the way I'm feeling. So that's that. Not cross stitch, but you know. All right. Oh, and Instant Pot. Don't have an Instant Pot, but a lot of these you can also a lot of Instant Pot recipes you can cook in the crock pot. And I'm looking at getting an Instant Pot eventually. So, all right. So then, what came on Saturday? It's this package. So this is His Eyes on the Sparrow. So that's a sampler. Now, this was introduced to me by Emily C. From Eclectic Possessions. And it just looked amazing when she stitched it up. She stitched it using the called for threads, which I might end up doing. I haven't decided yet. But the colors were just so amazing and vibrant that I fell in love with it. Now, like her, I'm not very religious, so I'll probably find a different quotation to go there in the middle. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. I just loved it so much, and it was on sale from 1-2-3 Stitch, I think. So. And then the other thing that arrived on Saturday was Graceful Gray. Was this gray Ada part of my mania plans, so we'll find more about this. I'll probably go into that more next time, honestly. But I'm very excited about this because right now I'm wondering if some of my fabric and threads and that kind of thing are going to get here in time, because a lot of places have shut down. A lot of small businesses are shut down or at very limited capacity, which is obviously like, you've got to do it. We've got to stop the spread of this pandemic. But it means that those small business hand-dyed fabric, hand-dyed thread places are not shipping as much, and so that might cause my plans to change. So every package that arrives that has to do with my mania plans, I'm super excited about, because it means that's one less thing that I have to think about switching. I'm not very good with change. All right, So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packages arrive today. It was supposed to be 6, but one of the packages, even though I emailed them and asked them to change the address on, was sent to my parents' house, which is my old address. I texted my dad and he's like, the old address was on the front and the new address was on the back. And I'm like, thanks, FedEx. Not that it was their fault. They just took it to one of them, I guess. So anyway, I still go see my parents because they're like less than 10 miles away. But so I will get that eventually. So 6 packages arrived today. You will see 5 of them today and 1 of them next time, probably. So this first one is from 123 Stitch. Ooh. So this is Weeks Dye Works, and I don't know how well you can, yeah, you can kind of see. It's like a very like pewter charcoal kind of gray, very dark. And it's Weeks Dye Works, which I've heard is a little bit soft, but I am not afraid to go ahead and get some starch out and see if maybe we can starch them. If not, then they're gonna go in a hoop. So, you know, I know a lot of people, they stitch in hand, and so they don't necessarily want the softer fabrics, but we'll see how this works. And I've heard that in the last couple of years they've switched their fabric suppliers, so Weeks Dye Works fabric has gotten more sturdy. So hopefully that's the case. But that's more Stitch Mania. This one is 2 very, very large pieces of Weeks Dye Works that will eventually go into, will be cut up for 7 different pieces. I'm cutting it into quarters, so yes, I know that makes 8 pieces, but I'm going to be using 7 of them for Mania. Next package, Stony Creek. Ooh. Okay, so this is Mirage. It's not as modeled as I thought it would be, which is fine, because it is going to be on a full coverage piece. Oh yeah, you can definitely see some stuff there. Ooh, that looks really pretty on camera. But it's kind of a gray, silver toned fabric, and that is going to be for another Mania piece. I'm gonna repackage these so I don't like lose them, because they've got labels on them, and I like labels. Labels are good when it comes to making sure you're using the correct supplies, but not in real life. And then the other one that came is 28 count casual in doubloon. And this is going to be for another Mania piece, I believe. Yes. I don't have my computer in front of me, so I don't have my spreadsheet, but this is for another Mania piece, and I actually really like the way it turned out. I was kind of thinking maybe it would be too light, but the look I was wanting was kind of like old parchment, like in Harry Potter, hint hint. And it's kind of showing up, that's pretty good. It looks like old parchment. It has the colors and the mottled effect that you see on the old parchment. So hopefully that will look very nice. Not hopefully, it will look very nice. And I only needed a fat 1/8 of that, which was nice. All right, so that is all that came from them. Now the next Why? I'm pretty sure this is a book as well that has nothing to do with cross-stitching, but we shall see. Because it's not like I've been rambling on for 36 minutes or anything. Sorry, guys. All right. Really? Okay. Ooh. More Whole30. As you can probably see, I go a little crazy when I get an idea in my head. But you know what? Even if I decide not to do this, Whole30 recipes are healthy and they would try really hard to be like yummy. So they're not bad cookbooks to have. All right. And, oh, this is quilting stuff for a quilt along that I'm a part of with Fat Quarter Shop. This is Cream and Sugar. This is the last month. So I should probably start on that, like with month 1. Have I mentioned that my life is kind of crazy? But yeah, no, that's quilting stuff. And one more. And I'm pretty sure I know what this one is. And I'm right. I'm so excited. Okay, Thea Governor? I don't know how to pronounce that. It's not the normal spelling of the word governor. But she has these beautiful, beautiful chairs that she has cross-stitched, created these designs for. And I saw them. I saw someone on a Facebook group, I think, who did them, and I fell in love. So I found the kit on Etsy, which is, you know, apparently kind of rare because I don't know that she's still alive. So her patterns are pretty much out of print, I believe. So, but yeah, these very, very beautiful chairs. And it came with needles and the threads and white Aida. I don't know if I want to do them on white Aida. The chairs are so rich and creamy looking. They're rich, beautiful, vibrant colors that I would think like a cream would probably be really, really pretty. But, you know, this is not something that's going to get started anytime soon. This might be one of the pieces that I start in May if some of my other Mania pieces fall through, which is a very, very real possibility at this point because I already know for a fact that 2 of my pieces of fabric are not even going to ship until May 21st from 123 Stitch because their supplier is just not dyeing fabric right now, or I don't know what exactly the problem is, but coronavirus. We're just gonna say coronavirus and leave it at that. So this one might actually get a start in May, maybe. We'll see. And she was super sweet. My PayPal account had not updated my address, and so I went and changed the address, and she's like, or I asked if I could change the address, and she's like, yeah, sure. Just give me a second to relist it. I'll cancel this order and you can order it again. I'm like, cool, awesome. And she's like, so that the correct shipping label will be on it. I'm not gonna show you my address. So I'm like, oh, that's really smart. Now my silk threads are at my parents' house and not with me. I could probably go get them, but if I went over there, they would expect me to like do stuff. Because they're moving too. That's why I moved out of their house. I am an adult. I have a job that happened to be in the area where my parents' house was, and my sister was still in school, and so they kept this house, but my mom has a job in another state, and so my parents haven't really had a lot of time with each other for the past couple of years, few years, more than 2. But they're moving to be together. They've got a house. And so it was like, oh, you've got to be an adult and pay your own rent and your own water bill and your own electric bill and insurance. I was already paying most of my own bills anyway. I just didn't have a water, electric, or housing bill. But I was paying my other like credit card and insurance bills. I'm not a complete moron, I promise. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, I keep looking at this because it's so pretty. Alright, well, I have been rambling on for 42 minutes now, it looks like. I told you about my plans for the next month. It's going to be working on Sistine Chapel, trying to get 10,000 stitches in there. I need to get the 300 stitches that I've done so far into Pattern Keeper. And then once that's done, I can continue working on that, and it'll count my stitches for me, which is amazing. And then the Cross Stitch Studio, they also have a Facebook group, and they are doing a challenge for the month of April. And their challenge for the month of April is to work on one of their pieces every day for at least 30 minutes. And I do not have a picture of the piece that I'm going to be starting and working on because I had already decided that I wanted to keep that digital before I printed it out. So I don't have any paper copies of what she looks like. She's called the Edwardian Lady at the Cross Stitch Design Studio. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but she's gorgeous. She's amazing. And so I'm going to be stitching on her for at least 30 minutes every single day for the month of April. So that'll get me 900 minutes. Yes. 30 times 30 is 900. I can math. So I'll get at least 900 minutes, which is about 15 hours. Yes, that one is correct. That is 15 hours of stitching on her through the month of April. And then, like I said, I'm also going to be working on the Sistine Chapel. That's going to have to come out to about 300 stitches a day. So I'm thinking I won't get too much more than 30 minutes every single day of my Edwardian Lady. Her I might work on like during my lunch breaks because I don't have to carry her anywhere to go on my lunch breaks now because I don't have a commute. So she might get worked on during lunch, which will give me 30 to 45 minutes on her every day. And then in the evenings, I will work on the Sistine Chapel and hopefully be able to get the 10,000 stitches in by May 1st. The challenge doesn't end until May 15th, but like I said, I want to get started on Mania. So I want to be done or mostly done so that I can get all those yummy starts in. So that's it for me for today. Thank you all so much for joining me. If there are any of you, this is my first video, so I don't know if there will be any of you, but I hope there are because I love FlossTube, I love cross-stitching, and I love sharing. I love sharing. I love finding pretty things and sharing them, and that is what cross-stitch is all about. Finding pretty things and sharing them. So thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.